The first race in the United States of America is also the first and only road course race we'll be seeing in the season. It's time for the newest open-wheel cars on the surface to go racing on the newest street circuit on the surface as well. Welcome to Long Beach, and welcome to round number 6 of the Dallara Formula IR Series here on RaceSpotTV for Friday Night Prime Time. My name is Dallara. I've got Ryan Walker beside me in the commentary box with Connery Maddock downstairs behind the cameras once more. The street circuit in California is a famous one, regularly hosting events for the NTT IndyCar Series and the real world, as well as a large variety of races, including the Pirelli World Challenge IMSA, as well as hosting 8 Grand Prix for Formula One from 1976 to 1983. In the 46 years since this track first opened, it has been regarded as one of the greatest road courses in North America and among the best in the world. With that in mind, Ryan, what kind of action do you think we can see from today's 50-lap race?
Yeah, I think we should be in for a close race tonight, and this Long Beach track, it's recently been released as really becoming one of my favourites, and tonight I think we should be in for an interesting race.
Kind of looking through the field right now as we are in the midst of qualifying. A lot of drivers have certainly been struggling today with some of the slower corners, especially that last one leading out onto the front straightaway. It is just such a difficult track, and it's one of those tracks where every little mistake is going to cost you dearly. A lot of these drivers are finding that out today, as I have seen at least 5 or 6 laps already invalidated from spins from getting on the throttle a little bit too early.
Yeah, it's an easy thing to do around here, and I think with the Long Beach as well being a street circuit, don't be surprised if you see some drivers maybe just pushing that a little bit too much and maybe clipping some of the walls and the exit of some corners. As look at Adam Cohn at the moment coming round to the final few corners and into the hairpin, and this hairpin Nolan is really tricky. It's just you've got to use so much steering lock, and getting on the power is so difficult. As Adam starts coming across the line now, and it looks like he's going to do a 21-2, and it looks like it'll put him in, actually it falls down to P11.
All the way down into 11th place for Adam Cohn. We got a couple drivers here that we don't usually see. Of course, it's a bigger field than we usually see today. That's because fewer drivers are registered for this race than normal. Of course, a few regulars are not present with us today because they would be focused on the Daytona 24 taking place tomorrow. Marco Sanfilippo goes fastest, though. That time is going to put him a whopping almost 3/10 over Dylan Freckleton. So Sanfilippo, with one of his first provisional pole positions he has had all season long so far. Quarter of a second up for that number 2 machine.
He's riding on board with the number 10 car of Jacob Oberslack at the moment, coming around the final few corners up to the hairpin, and just watch the amount of lock he has to put in. It's just incredible, and getting on the power, like I say, it can be tricky. He's coming up to the line now, and it looks like it could be sitting in 9th at the moment, and I think that's where he stays at the moment.
Only 16 drivers have set times. We got a total of 21, I believe, in the session at the moment. We're watching right now Eugenio Massa right now throwing his way around the circuit. He is on his, he's on his 3rd lap at the moment, so he's already have both laps invalidated, no doubt from little spins on each. So he's just out right now getting a little bit of extra practice in. Goodness knows he and a lot of other drivers are going to need it.
Yep, absolutely, and just looking through the grid at the moment, and a few drivers at the back have not set a time yet, and possibly not having time to set a lap, or just really making a mistake, like getting a 1x, for example, or just a 0x rather. As Eugenio Massa actually goes real wide at the hairpin. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but coming across the line now, and he's only got about roughly 1 minute, so I don't think he'll be able to complete his lap.
Just about 1 minute remaining in qualifying now. Like we said, about 16 drivers have set times. It looks like this is kind of going to be where things are going to sit. Not a lot of drivers are out on the track right now. In fact, that driver of Massa is one of the only drivers left on the circuit. Just getting in, like we said, a little bit of extra practice in, and good thing to do that. I mean, you got the little bit of extra time to go out to practice, so why not? And to prove that a lot of these drivers are from what typically would be lower splits, and we can look at Zane Scott for a good example. He is sitting about 8 seconds off of Marco Sanfilippo's pace. You got a lot of drivers that are not used to finding themselves in the top split, which today, it isn't even a top split race because there is only the one.
Yeah, absolutely. And yep, like you say, these drivers are just going around getting extra practice now. And yeah, it's quite incredible that some drivers are 8 seconds off the pace, but maybe just maybe not done as many races with this car like other people in this series so far this season. And it looks like we're going to just about to move to the grid.
Qualifying is complete. We're just going to give it a quick second here to fully switch over. Then we will take you through your starting grid as the field starts to get themselves lined up on the back straightaway. Marcus Sanfilippo sits on pole. Dylan Freckleton a quarter of a second behind him. Hayata Asaka sits in third. Danilo Sanfilippo down in the fourth position, almost half a second back. In fifth place is Matthew Howard. Sixth is Omar Baja. Seventh is going to be Cal Young. Jacob Swedistri sits in eighth. Jacob Uberslack in ninth. Anthony Catt rounds out the top 10 for today's race. Adam Cohn is in the 11th position. Rashad Craig sits 12th. Aaron Roofs in 13th. Eric Joyjock in the 14th position. David Jones is in 15th. Zane Scott 16th place. The last of the drivers to set a time. Drivers that did not set times are going to be Remy Garcia, Josh Batista, Benjamin Forch, Eugenio Massa, and Colin McKenzie rounds out the 21-car field today. Just waiting for a few drivers to grid up before we get today's 50-lap race underway.
Yep, absolutely. Just there, the driver's just about to get underway in a few seconds, and not sure what to expect in this racing on, but I think with these cars, I think we should be in for a good race. But also remember, with this being a rolling start, that hairpin with the cars being so close together, don't be surprised if you see a bit of a bottleneck.
These guys are starting on Seaside Way, the back straightaway of the track, just before the Firestone turn. Shoreline Drive is going to be where the start-finish line sits, and it looks like we're just waiting just a little bit longer, about 15 seconds remaining before gridding time is up. Just waiting on one more driver. It looks to be one of the drivers further in the back of the field. What do you think here, Ryan? Your final thoughts here as we get set to go racing?
Well, just with this series in car that so far, I think Long Beach, we should be in for a close race, but I think Marco Sanfilippo is really quick in this car, so he could be one to keep an eye on, and I wouldn't be surprised if he possibly pulls away and possibly takes the win, but I'm not today. It's too hard to see at the moment as we're just underway with the rolling start, and it's a short pace lap, so not much time for these drivers to settle down and get focused.
Porsche 911 pace car going to lead them around the Indy left and then through the final hairpin onto Shoreline Drive. It'll be in the hands of Marcus Sanfilippo, who leads the field to the hairpin. It's a big checkup further in the back already as cars try to go double file through the hairpin. Almost single file. Sanfilippo already is on the lap pedal, steps that back end out as he does. We're green flag racing in California. Dylan Freckleton caught napping on the start. He's got to really work to fend off. They knew Sanfilippo's already up to third, trying to go for second down to the turn number one. He's going to get this one settled. No, he doesn't. Second place into the outside wall, and Freckleton will no doubt have some damage from that as we enter the fountain section for the first time today.
Yeah, it's such an easy thing to do in turn one. It's such an easy cause to make a mistake because they're carrying so much speed, and you're having to slow down straight away, and sometimes you can get caught out, and fortunately he found it out, but Marco Sanfilippo is just basically scalped away as the replay's coming up now. Going to have a look at the incident.
We should keep an eye on this one as well, as that was Freckleton going into the wall, but then keep an eye on Rashad Craig, who's going to be coming in for the back as well, because he also had a collision with the turbo barrier. David Jones came screaming in with a big head of steam as well, slammed into that machine as well, so a lot of calamity here early on for a lot of these drivers. I've seen a lot of cars with damage really early on, not at all we want to see. There's the inside from Rashad Craig, and there is Jones, who was nowhere near making that corner. And we've had more trouble actually on the exit of the hairpin just now. Omar Baha is right now sideways on the front straightaway. Sideways with him just behind is Aaron Roofs.
Yeah, I thought everyone was going to try and settle down, but everyone's just having issues already, and we're only on the second lap. But still, Sanfilippo's in the lead, and looking at the four car of Omar Baha and coming around the hairpin, and yeah, I don't know if he's getting on the power, and he just might have looked it around as he gets on the power, and yeah, just loses control.
Stops right in the middle of the track. Good job on the field to miss him. There you see Roofs do the exact same thing and tag the inside wall on the back straightaway. So a lot of calamity in the early stages of the race. Sanfilippo still leads. Battle for third is on between Dylan Freckleton and Hayata Asaga. Both drivers are trying to fight for the final podium position. Matthew Howard is just waiting in the wings as well to see if he can pick up a spot if these guys make a mistake.
Yeah, there's just watching there, just watching what these guys are up to, and apart from those few incidents, it seems to have relatively settled down, and the field's a little bit spread out as well. But turn one, from what we saw, it's just such an easy corner to make a mistake because you're just carrying so much speed and you want to try and push on corner entry, but if you push too much and carry too much speed as we saw, you can end up making a mistake and hitting the wall.
Josh Batista in the 15 car just had a big moment on the front straightaway, an impressive save after he actually tagged inside a wall coming through Bridgestone, which is the long sweeping right-hander along the front straightaway. He actually bounced the car up into the air as well, up on two wheels. So how we kept that under control, we have absolutely no idea. Both Sanfilippo's lead. We take a look at the race spot replay at what happened to that number 15 machine of Josh Batista. This was a little further back on the front straightaway coming through Bridgestone. And there you see actually tagged the wall again in the fountain section, as a matter of fact, as well.
Yeah, he clipped the wall in the home. He clipped the wall in that home straight kink as well. Well, it's not really a home straight; it's a bit of a kink. But just look at the replay on board from Josh, and what was he doing?
That's clumsy. That is, talk about a misjudgment.
Yeah, the director said something in my ear, which made me chuckle. But yeah, anyway, back to the action, and yep, Dave, just watching this battle going on as well, and just checking the gap of Sanfilippo up at the front, and his lead is, or Marco Sanfilippo rather, his gap is 3.4 seconds now to the other Sanfilippo. It's Daniele Sanfilippo in second place.
About another 3 seconds from Danilo Sanfilippo all the way back to Dylan Freckleton, who is still just 0.4 of a second up from Hayata Asaga. Now, the challenge thing for Asaga is that he cannot get close enough to really be able to make the draft work for him all the way down the front straightaway, and that is because he has to follow so close to the hairpin, but he can't get on the throttle really early because otherwise he is going to end up running them over. So the gap extends to about half a second down the front straightaway, and there just isn't enough room for him to be able to fully draft on up to Dylan Freckleton just up the road from him.
Yeah, and rider on board of Hayata as well, heading into turn one, and there's mountain section as well. It's one of my favourite sections on the track, but it's not really a section that you can make a move. It's basically like a one-line section, if you like. But at the moment, Hayata just watching, keeping an eye on Freckleton in front of him and keeping him honest.
Keeping them honest indeed, and that is exactly what these drivers need to do, is make sure that they can keep each other honest, because these guys that are trying to defend for their positions need to know that any mistake they make is going to cause them to lose that spot, and it will be almost impossible for them to regain it. It is just so difficult to pass on a street circuit like this one, as we watch these cars once again clatter over the curbs. These curbs can be really brutal to these cars as well, which already can get unsettled easily enough. Asaga once again on the throttle, steps that back end out. That is 900 horsepower being sent straight to the rear axle with no traction control to help him out whatsoever, and it causes him to lose just a little bit more time.
Yeah, that hairpin, trying to get on the power as quickly as possible, it's so tempting, but if you give it too much power on the exit, you can get sideways and lose traction. But Asaga, at the moment, he's closing right up on the Freckleton. I think it could be just a matter of time possibly before he gets by him.
Quite a few drivers are running the soft compounds here. These two drivers that we're watching battling are among those drivers on the softs. Both your front runners, though, Danilo and Marco Sanfilippo, are running the medium compounds, should note. So they're looking to maybe go on a little bit longer on their stints here. But we'll continue to keep our eyes on this battle for the final podium position as it continues to develop. Hayata Asaga continues to try to apply the pressure to Freckleton, but I don't think Asaga is going to really be able to make a move here unless Freckleton makes a big mistake that opens up the door. Look at how close they get through that hairpin onto Seashore Drive. It is just, it's just such, Shoreline Drive, excuse me. It's just so difficult, though, to follow through that hairpin and manage to maintain the gap, because you can see how far out it spreads up. One car is already in the pits. That's Cal Young in the number 5 car dropping out of the 9th place. He was in the middle of a battle for the 8th position just a little while ago, so I wonder if something has happened there, or if he's already decided those tires are dropping away too much. Yeah,
it looks like he's possibly got a bit of wing damage on the front on the front left as we're just about to look at a replay. As Cal comes into the pits and I can't see any on the pit entry. He doesn't seem to do anything wrong.
I see where it's happened. It actually happened right on the exit of the final hairpin. We're going to take another look at this here. He's going to push a bit too wide and clout the concrete barrier. Watch this right about there. He just nails that concrete barrier. That likely gave him suspension damage, which is why he came down to pit so early. These cars are so fragile, and that concrete wall is killer. Like we were saying, the slightest little mistake will just cause your day to go up in smoke just like that.
Yep, absolutely. The hairpin, it's just you can understeer wide as well in the exit, and as you saw there, you can clip the wall and get some damage. And unfortunately, Carl found out the hard way.
Unfortunately, he did. That is just not at all what we wanted to have happen for him here today. Asaga and Freckleton are both kind of having their own little scrap just up the road from these guys, so we'll have to wait and see how this is going to fan out. Asaga has closed in a bit more to Dylan Freckleton, so it looks like Asaga might... Oh, just like I say that, another tank slapper moment for Asaga, causing him to lose more time. He's just gating his throttle, or his foot on the throttle a little bit too early, and it is just seriously costing him here.
It is, and I think Asaga is getting a little bit frustrated as well that he can't get by Freckleton. But behind Asaga, you've got Howard as well, and I think not far behind Howard as well, we've got Swiderski. So we've got a bit of a battle starting to brew up.
Matthew Howard has closed his way up into the mix of things too from the fifth position just behind them. So things are indeed starting to brew here, Ryan. Potential three-car fight for that final podium position underway. The more Asaga get... Oh! Looks like Matthew Howard might have had a little bit of a graze with the wall. Sorry, Asaga had a bit of a graze with the wall, excuse me. Entering the corner on the outside of the racetrack. That is a very unusual place to strike the wall. Take a look on board with Asaga. Watch this here. Breaking for this next right-hander. Right there, just scrapes it a little bit more. God, trying to argue it in a bit too much.
Yeah, I think he was just trying to, I don't know if he meant or not, he might have just been trying to widen the entry as much as possible, but you can't really do that in that section of the track. As looking at this battle again, hit on the exit of the hairpin, and Asaga, it looks like, just watching his onboard from my view, it looks like he's lucky to get away with that with no damage.
Josh Batista is into the pits, and he has also had more troubles for himself. Got on the throttle way too early on the exit of that final hairpin, collided with the wall, and he is now stopped in his pit box with no front wing and a lot of engine damage. He is likely going to be done for the day as you see him climb out of the car there on your screens. Take a look at the replay, and you can already see he's in the pits there.
Yeah, just looking at the replay, see what happened. Oh, he just lost it when he got back in the power.
Again, that's 900 horsepower being sent right to the rear axle. Oh my goodness, just barely managed to get into the pits in time before your leaders came thundering up on him. I'll tell you what, that hairpin is definitely the trouble spot for a lot of drivers. It is one of the most difficult corners you will ever be able to find on the iRacing surface. It is almost impossible to get correct, let alone trying to pass somebody through there. We're lucky we haven't actually seen a spin right at the apex of that, because as soon as you get a spin in the middle of the corner, it's almost a guaranteed roadblock.
It is, and as we look back at this battle for fifth place between Matthew Howard and Jacob Swiderski, yeah, it's basically... It's so easy to... I've done that mistake as well in a Camel GT race and with the Audi GTO, and once if you get on the power too much, it's you can just look round and clip that wall.
So it's a two-horse race now for the final position in the top five between Matthew Howard and Jacob Swiderski. Both drivers trying to do their best here to keep things out of the wall, yet battle with each other. I think at this point in time, a lot of guys are just kind of trying to take it easier now. They know they don't really need to push it all too hard. I think Swiderski is definitely one of the drivers that's just trying to take it easy right now, because Howard in front of him is on the soft tires. Swiderski is on the medium, so Swiderski knows he has got a lot more tire life left than Howard does, so might just be trying to make this one stretch out a little bit longer so we can get the pass completed through the pit stop cycle.
Yep, it's possible. Yeah, Swiderski could be maybe trying something different and just staying behind, looking after the tyres, and yeah, he realises he can go longer. So, oh, he's eclipsed the wall in turn 1.
More problems for more drivers. I mean, it's just unreal here how many drivers are having troubles with this one. And look at Swiderski, his car is destroyed. It looks more like a Formula Ford than it does a Dallara IRL1 at this point in time. Take a look at the replay. Too wide in turn 1, sends him one side of the barrier. Oh my goodness me. Like I said, massive roll there, and that is open wheel racing at its finest. Car tags the wall, just tips right over.
Yeah, you just missed the apex of turn 1, and basically just basically if you do that, you're just most of the time you're a passenger into the wall in turn 1. But yep, he's still going, but he's got plenty of damage, and I think that could be his race done for today. But yeah, apart from that, it's closer to the front again. It seems to have just spread out and settled down.
It has really spread out amongst a good portion of the field. I mean, nobody is really doing anything just yet. A lot of the drivers aren't even really close enough to properly battle with each other here on the circuit. Right now, I believe the closest gap is between Hayata Asaga and Dylan Freckleton once more in the battle for P3. We're watching that right now on your screens. That is the new 5th place Matthew Howard that you see just at the rear of your screens. By now, we have already lapped all the way up to 11th place, and that might very well become 10th here in just a brief moment.
Yeah, it's just unbelievable how quickly the track has been lapped already. I'm quite surprised by that, considering that Long Beach is a really long track. But
oh, hang on. We got one car that ran really deep into the hairpin. Zane Scott took it really wide and tagged the tire barriers as a result.
Yeah, as the replay is coming up now to see what happened, and yeah, looking at Scott now coming into the final couple of corners, and yeah, just going around the truck, this double left-hander rather, and he turns in, and he just ran wide, and I think just clipped away with his left.
He was trying to let the leader through. Like, here, let's keep this with this one here if he can, because he did have another clout with turn 1, but it's a bit of an interesting one, because what he was trying to do there, Ryan, was he was trying to let the leaders through, I guess just underestimated the turning radius he was going to need to make the turn still.
Yeah, I think Scott should have just waited until the home straight to just lift off slightly and let the other car go through. But maybe he was just getting worried about just being in the way. But as we're looking at the battle for 3rd place as well between Dylan Freckleton and Hayata Asaga, and these two have been basically been close since the start of the race, and Asaga's fallen back slightly. So I don't know if Asaga's maybe just looking after his tyres a little bit.
At this point in time, it really has become a race of attrition. I mean, we've got only like about 10 or 11 cars on the track by now out of the 21 that started this race, because of how many drivers have really fallen back because of their own accidents that have taken place. I mean, rarely do we see so many drivers out of the race this early on. The leader is already, I believe he actually just lapped 9th place as well just a little while ago. So we've only got 8 cars now on the lead lap.
Yeah, it's amazing to think, and yeah, we're on about what we're on at the moment, about just about to come to the end of lap 15, and his car's been lapped up until the top 10. So Marcus Sanfilippo's doing a good job, but just people having issues.
Long Beach proving exactly why street circuits are definitely not to be trifled with. They're not to be taken lightly. The dangers you can get from these types of tracks are just so immensely multiplied when you're in such a confined space like this. The other street circuit on the circuit, Detroit Belle Isle, is really no different. That track is also one of those ones where it can really bite you if you push the track too hard. I believe Mount Panorama is a kind of a street circuit hybrid as well, and that is another track where you really need to make sure you hit all your marks, especially in the mounted section. There's a reason why that track is known for tearing apart race cars near the top of the mountain. Long Beach is a lot like that. I mean, this is actually, when you think about it, Long Beach is actually among the wider of the street circuits you can find in the world, but that doesn't mean it's any easier.
Yeah, and that's the thing. People presume because Long Beach is a wider street track, you might be able to make a mistake and get away with it. But especially in turn 1 in that mountain section. If you make a mistake, you can't. There's nowhere to go but into the wall, as we've saw in the other stages of the race. And yeah, it's there might be a wider track, but Long Beach can definitely bite you if you get it wrong.
Really bite you indeed. Most of the cars now, a good majority of them, are laps down, or at least off the pace. There is nobody within 6 seconds of Marco Sanfilippo. Another 6 seconds back from Danilo Sanfilippo running to the second position is Dylan Freckleton, and the battle for third place, which right now is the closest battle that we have on track. The gap has kind of stabilized, just about a second apart from each other. It is such a challenging circuit, isn't it? As we watch from some of the wall cameras, the track looks really wide, and it is deceptively wide, especially in this corner right here. Like, that was actually a perfect camera angle right there. You saw the long straight before and how much the track bottlenecked from Pine Avenue onto Seaside Way. That's another challenge in Long Beach, is that the track doesn't stay wide. It can widen up to about 3-4 lanes and then narrow up to just one in the span of one corner.
Yeah, that's the thing as well. But as I've got a slow-moving car, just letting everyone by. But that's the thing as well. Like you mentioned, on some parts of the track can be really wide. Like this home part of the track, or home straight part of the track, sorry, it can be real wide. And then you come into this section of turn 1 and turn 2 and turn 3, it gets really tight again.
Another challenge of the track as well is a lot of the bumps on the track. You got to remember as well, if it didn't say so in the name itself, these are run on roads that are typically for public use. You see it in the road markings, and you can certainly see it in the bumps and the elevation changes everywhere. It is just such a challenging circuit because of the bumps. The downforce on these cars that they generate just does not work nearly as much as it would on a much smoother surface like you might see over at Suzuka, just an A1 track, for example. It is so bumpy here, and it really does upset the flow of the car here. Asaga and Freckleton are both being held up by Benjamin Forsch now through that final hairpin. Forsch does let them both through, and Asaga, unfortunately, does not close the gap any further to Freckleton, who is going to have to continue to extend that lead out. But I'll tell you what, Asaga's doing a great job of keeping Freckleton honest.
Yeah, he is indeed, and Freckleton's doing a good job of just keeping his composure and doing a great defensive job. But as Asaga closes right up again, it seems to be around this part of the track as well, that Asaga can just close up right on the braking, and then, as he gets sideways again. Every time I watch Asaga get sideways, I keep thinking he's going to spin around and hit the wall, but he's doing a good job keeping Freckleton in sight, and Freckleton is not tracked under the pressure.
Another battle on the track right now is among the 11th and 12th place cars, both one lap down. Aaron Roos and Cal Young are both having a good go at things. Eugenio Massa from 10th place had just stopped on the track and let both cars through, despite being in a fight for position with the two of them. Oh, wow, and just cut soft on Freckleton. What is the 20 car doing here?
Yeah, I don't know if Eugenio was trying to let... Is that... What? I'm a bit confused by that, but...
So, we'll take a look at this here. Keep in mind, he's in 10th place at the moment in this replay. He is fighting for position. He slows down and stops on the track to let the leaders through. Here comes 11th and 12th. There goes the battle for 11th and 12th right past them. So now he's down to the 12th position. Hang on, he's just stopped again on the track. Over near turn 4 or 5, I believe, as here we see him then leave the track, come back onto the track right in front of the battle for P3 and P4. He just stopped on the track again over near the other end of the racing surface near Toyota. I mean, this is incredibly dangerous what he's doing here.
Yeah, I don't get why he slowed down to a stop, but it's just weird. Like the first time... Hayata Asaga's had issues.
And has Hayata Asaga had a major issue here? Take a look at the replay.
Yeah, I look back to Hayata Asaga to see how he's getting on in the battle for third, and yeah, it looks like he's had issues, maybe had a spin.
So we're coming over here onto what road is this? Seaside Way. down the back straightaway here of the circuit, headed down towards Indy left. Oh, big lockup! Fantastic job to keep it out of the tires there. That might be a race saver. The quick reactions there.
Yeah, he was a lucky boy to get away with that. He just managed to get stopped before hitting the wall, and they managed to get going again. But yeah, that's as he gets sideways again, clips that wall.
While that was going on, we just had a pass for the 10th position. Cal Young finally has managed to get around Aaron Roos in the Firestone turn. It was a move into the braking zone, so not a mistake on Aaron Roos' part. It was just Cal Young being the fastest driver on the medium tires. The softs starting to show their wear here on the California streets. It is a pretty cool track here, only 78 degrees Fahrenheit, but still, these tires really they do fall away really quickly here on a track like this.
Yeah, they do, even though, this fairly straight, this track. The tires can take a punishment sometimes if you don't look after them, and people like Hayata Asaga will be feeling the tires starting to go away as well with the amount of times he's been sideways in this race. But but if you look after the tires around here, it can pay off in the long run.
These guys just get so close to the wall, just absolutely trying to cheat death here with their cars. Certainly, those front wings, every time they see a wall coming up to them, they just got to kind of close their eyes and pray a little bit that they don't end up with a face full of concrete. Marco Sanfilippo still leads the way. 10 seconds now over Danilo Sanfilippo, so it looks like Marco is looking to have an incredibly dominant drive here today. You can see Danilo Sanfilippo losing so much time over 2 of the last laps. 1.7 seconds on lap 20, another 1 second on lap 21, about, just under 10th on lap 22. Matthew Howard is down to pit road, so is Benjamin Force from 9th place. So it seems like the pit stop window is starting to open up. He's on the mediums.
Yeah, he's going for another set of mediums, and I don't know if he'll be able to get to the finish. He might have a penalty. He might have sped in the pit lane, or either he's got damage.
It is a very long hole. That's not damage, I'm afraid. That is certainly going to be a penalty for that driver. That is just, oh my goodness me. I mean, it's another thing where it's like, what could possibly go wrong? He was running so far out in front. Now the question is, what did he get the penalty for? Potentially speeding on pit road, maybe on the entry. That's the only thing I can think of.
Yes. As Benjamin Forces came through the pits as well, and he's coming back out, and he's got I think that's a Sagas rather coming through into turn 1, and both of them managed to get through turn 1 without any issues, and Benjamin Force came through it, and Howard's coming out the pits.
Well, while we have a little bit of downtime in the action here, we may as well touch on the pit road exit. It is such a treacherous exit because it exits right out to where the racing line typically would be, and they have to cut right in immediately for turn number 1 upon exiting the pit. So it's just such a dangerous thing for them to do, especially when you're side by side with lap traffic. Imagine coming out with a guy that you're battling with. It would almost certainly end with one of you in the wall.
Yeah. Up at the front, you've still got Marco Sanfilippo, and apart from that, I'm just looking through the field in game, and I can't really find any other battles going on at the moment. Sorry, no.
It is a bit of a smaller field than we're usually used to seeing, and I say that, I mean, we did have 14 cars last week, but the drivers that are all in this race, this is how many total signed up this week, and the reason for that is because the 24 hours of Daytona is tomorrow. That is starting up tomorrow. It is going to be going through all the way through to Sunday. That is going to certainly be one heck of a race indeed. It always is one of the few special annual events that iRacing hosts on the service throughout the year. It's also when us here at RaceSpotTV are going to be debuting our brand new overlays package as well. So tune in if you want to see some new graphics coming up for tomorrow as well, when that will be debuted. So certainly big times for everybody tomorrow.
And yeah, that overlay that you're talking about, Nolan, is built for motocross racing, so if you want to see it in action, watch the broadcast tomorrow.
Yes, indeed. It is going to be a very entertaining race. I unfortunately will not be able to be there. I unfortunately had other commitments to attend, but there is going to be an incredibly talented team working over the entirety of the 4 parts from hours 1 to 6, 7 to 12, 13 to 18, 19 to 24, including the very producer you're seeing behind the cameras with this one, Connor Matic, going to be on the mic, I believe, tomorrow as well. So certainly a lot of talent going to be present tomorrow as well. Drivers. Oh, wow! Benjamin Forsch with a massive tank slapper of oversteers. He was trying to let through Anthony Kahn and nearly wiped out the 5th place driver. Oh!
Yeah.
He just tagged the wall again, right where it kind of juts in for a service road.
Yeah, we're just about to look at the race spot replay as well, and it looks like they're riding on board Benjamin Force, and I don't know what he was doing. Just drove towards the wall for no reason.
I mean, this is one of those tracks where little lapses in concentration can prove costly, a lot more so than at another track. Because unlike a beat, it's like, oh, oops, I got one tire in the grass, might want to fix that. It's like, oh, shoot, I'm in the wall and now I'm flipping down the back straightaway. Can't really fix that now, can I? You really do need to be completely alert every single lap. It is so hard to do, though. You know, put 100% focus on every single one of these 50 laps.
Yeah, absolutely. 50 laps around Long Beach is a long time to get your concentration, and sometimes a bit of fatigue can kick in, and it causes you to lose concentration. As looking at the battle between Roofs and Force, and it looks like Force might have possibly got some suspension damage, and our Roofs is closing him down.
Indeed he is. So Aaron Roofs able to just start to pull away from Forge in that final position within the top 10. Should know these guys are still laps down. At this point in time, only got 6 cars on the lead lap, and none of them are within 5 seconds of one another. We only have 14 running in the race period so far. It really is one of those races where attrition is everything, and it can make or break how your race plays out.
Absolutely is, and this is the closest battle on track at the moment, as someone else is into the pits, and it looks like it's the leader of Marco Filippo, sorry.
Most cars still have yet to come in and pit, and it seems like Marco Sanfilippo has finally decided he wants to come in to get some fresh rubber onto that Dallara IR1. Stops all the way up the front where the ISM pace car sits. It was mediums for the first stint. Is it going to be soft for the second one? He is sitting there for a little bit of time, and he is going to be staying on mediums to the end of this one. Danilo Sanfilippo is in as well.
Yeah, from lap 29 and lap 30 rather, you should be able to get to the end on another set of mediums. But I wouldn't be surprised if someone tries to go on the hard tyres and try and do a long run to the finish. As at the moment, with that pit stop from Marco Sanfilippo, it's Dylan Freckleton leading.
Dylan Freckleton is in the lead on going to be 29 lap old soft tire. So he has made his soft tire stretch out longer than Danilo and Marco Sanfilippo's mediums, and he is still running in the lead. So it would not surprise if we saw him take soft tires going into the second pit stop. Oh, wow! I think he wanted to, hang on, I think he wanted to pit there, but Massa was in his way.
Yeah, that was I'm not sure what went on there. I think the leader, Dylan, wanted to pit, but because Massa was in the way, he couldn't get into the pit entry. So he tries to go. Yeah, he goes for the pit entry, but he decides against it at the last second because Massa's in the way.
Looks like he got a bit of a tank slapper going as well at the exit of the court as well. So that also might have contributed in that little swoop over to the left. So Hayata Asaga from 4th place comes in. Now, Freckleton might have to respond to this. Asaga has gone onto the soft tires for his final stint of the day. At this point in time, the only 2 cars ahead of the Sanfilippos are Anthony Cat and Freckleton, who are both going to be on 30-lap old tires this time by. Dylan Freckleton running on the soft tires, so is Anthony Cat. So we'll have to see if both of them are going to take soft for the next stint. And it would not surprise if they did. Freckleton is continuing to stay out, so he really thinks he can push those soft tires to the limit here.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Dylan's maybe trying to go to try and get to the lap 35 and then do a bit of a short run to the finish on possibly another set of softs. So don't be surprised if he does that. But I think Anthony Cat, he's coming around again as well in second place. So these two guys up at the front still need to pit.
I want to point out as well that Marco Sanfilippo is starting to reel in Anthony Cat on the fresh medium tires. 30-lap fresher medium tires, that is, than Anthony Cat's soft. So Anthony Cat's tires are starting to, kind of fade away. You see Marco Sanfilippo coming to the corner here. That is, oh, wow! And big moment there from Marco Sanfilippo, stepping that back end out. That is the curbing that I was talking about, especially right at that corner there that leads onto the straightaway. If you hit it wrong, you can kick the back end up and step that back end out. That's exactly what Sanfilippo did, but he did such a good job to keep that under control.
Yeah, absolutely did. He's coming around the final couple of corners now. And he's sitting in third place at the moment. And he's, like you say, he's closing down Anthony Cat. But obviously Cat still needs to pit as well. But Dylan Freckleton, he stays out again, heading on to the lap 32 now. So I think he is trying to get to lap 35 and then dive into the pits.
Anthony Cat seems to be taking the fuel window strategy here. So does Anthony Cat. Both of them kind of running identical strategies here. It would seem to try to make sure that they can get these cars as much as they can. I think what they're trying to do is just trying to make sure they keep the risk of running themselves into traffic down as low as possible as well.
Yep, absolutely. As right on board is Marco Sanfilippo at the moment, and right there in front of him is Anthony Cat. So the fresh rubber at the moment for Marco is paying off. He's closing down Anthony Cat, who's obviously on older rubber, which is basically passing their sell-by date, if you like, as Dylan Freckleton again is coming across the line to complete another lap onto lap 33.
These guys do have to come in to stop. They cannot stay out there till the end of the race, and that is because the fuel window will not allow for them to stay out all the way to the end. They have to come down at some point or another. Sanfilippo is continuing to close down on Anthony Cat. He can now see that number 6 car right in his visor, and he definitely wants to try to find a way past him in a hurry. The gap is sitting at about 1.3 seconds now, so he is just about hanging at the tail end of the draft.
Yep, and watching Marco Sanfilippo as well. Filippo now as well. He's closing down Anthony Cat for sure. And right there, I don't think Anthony Cat, if Marco closes or catches him right up, I don't think Anthony will put up much of a fight.
I mean, I think it would honestly be unwise for Anthony Cat to put up much of a fight. You're looking at a guy here who has been so dominant all day long, who pulled over 10 seconds on second place before the first pit window, and now he's running you down on fresh tires. It would not be very smart to fight Marco Sanfilippo here, and I'm pretty sure that would be the way to get yourself kicked off of Sanfilippo's Christmas card list. So that is not at all what Anthony Cat will want, and I think Anthony Cat is probably going to do a more courteous thing and try to let him through when the time comes, if not come down a pit.
Yep, absolutely, and I think if Marco catches up to Anthony on this lap and he's right behind him, I think Anthony will just jump into the pits straight away and just not lose too much time.
Is now within drafting distance of Anthony Cat, so we're just gonna have to kind of wait a little bit longer here. We haven't seen a whole lot of actual passes. Sanfilippo runs a bit wide, cost himself a couple tenths there, but we haven't seen a whole lot of actual passing going on. A lot of the overtakes have been as the result of numerous different incidents on the track.
Is the leader Dylan Freckleton is into the pits.
Dylan Freckleton finally yields and comes down towards pit road, likely at the end of his fuel window. He nearly tagged the wall through the hairpin as a result of that one. Managed to get into the pits though, all safe and sound. Now we're just going to have to wait to see Anthony Cat. Does he do the same? No, he does not. Anthony Cat stays out, and he's going to now take the race lead for now.
Yep, so Anthony Cat is doing doing this thing that I was talking about. He's possibly trying to go to lap 35 and maybe just dive into the pits now because, yeah, at the moment we've got about 15 laps remaining in this race. So, and Marco Sanfilippo is he's actually not closed up as much on Anthony Cat as I thought he would. So maybe just waiting until Anthony dives into the pits and not pushing too much.
Well, Marco Sanfilippo knows he's going to retake the race lead. There's absolutely no way that he can. And he's got almost a 13-second gap back to Danilo Sanfilippo. He really does not need to force the issue because he knows for a fact that Anthony Cat has got to come down within the next lap or so here. I'd be a bit surprised if Cat did not come down this time around, to be completely frank. They are closing in on Adam Cohn, but I don't think we'll be seeing any dramas there. Anthony Cat, though, stays out one more lap. Now going on to 36 laps on the tires.
Yeah, I'm amazed he's managing to basically stretch his tyres as long as possible because I thought he would have been losing a bunch of time as they're coming up to that back marker now, heading through the fountain section. And I wonder if this back marker will try and move out of the way as soon as he can, possibly when he gets onto this straight that coming up to now, as Cat just about, I thought he was going to run into the tyres there, as the back marker gets out of the way and stays to the left.
That marker does stay to the left. Still waiting to see if Anthony Cat can. Oh dear, there is Eugenio Massa, who once again is almost slowed to a stop on the side of the track, making sure the leaders can get their way through, but definitely throwing up some yellow flags in the area. I know that would certainly be the procedure, at least, if a car is going that slow in the real world. Cat dives his way past Zane Scott, who is keeping well out of the way of the race leaders. And now it's at the point where Marco Sanfilippo is just so right up on the back of it. There's no way here that Anthony Cat can hold on for long. I'm still shocked that Cat has not come down yet.
Yeah, so am I. I'm just right on board with Marco Sanfilippo now and heading into turn one. And I think Marco's just realising that he doesn't need to do anything silly. He just needs to... He's in second place and he's got the net lead once the pit stops are out the way. And I think Anthony Cat as well, fair play to him, he's doing a good job on those tyres, which are pretty much, destroyed at this point.
We're coming up now to what will be about 10 laps to go. In just a few laps' time, it's going to be 13 to go next time by at the line. As once again we blast down Seaside Way towards the Firestone turn. At this point in time, what do you do if you're Marco Sanfilippo? Because it's pretty obvious now that he's starting to get a little bit held up by Anthony Cat. If Cat still stays out, do you start to force... to completely disregard that question, Anthony Cat comes down to pit lane. Sanfilippo inherits the lead.
Yeah, I was going to say when you asked me that, I think if I was Marco, I would just basically bide my time and just wait until Cat dives into the pits and then basically just pick up the pace again and... Yep, Cat into the pits, so he's managed to stretch those soft tyres out a while, and I think he'll probably, don't be surprised if he puts on another set of softs once he does.
I will say Anthony Cat did a great job to keep that car out as long as he did. He has now dropped out of the 4th position. He is likely going to be dropped outside of the top 5 as well. In fact, he is. Well, he's not going to be dropped outside of the top 5 because Adam Cohn is a lap down, but he will now be the last car on the lead lap.
Yeah, and it's just amazing how many cars have been lapped now, up to 6th position as well. And yeah, it's just amazing, but it's just the nature of Long Beach and just the attrition that's been taking place has caused so many cars to be lapped. But fair play to the cars that are still running.
The street circuits do have that tendency to have a lot of drivers that end up laps down. As we watch a developing battle between Adam Cohn and Matthew Howard, just about a second apart for 6th and 7th. You know, what we're seeing there kind of reminds me of what happened in another IndyCar series, where we saw another driver, Joshua Chin, lap just about the entire field. He was about 4 seconds away from 2nd place on the racetrack and lapping him as well. It was just an absolutely dominant performance, and Marco Sanfilippo is certainly trying to put on the same display of force that he has been showing here the entire day so far. The battle for 6th and 7th is still heating up here. It looks like Howard has got quite a bit of speed under that machine.
Yeah, I'm just watching Howard from my end as well, and it looks like I'm just checking to see what compound he's on. He's on the medium tyres, and Howard is on the... Well, not Howard, Cohen is on the soft tyres, so Howard, even though he's on the mediums, he's definitely putting Con under pressure, and I think Con might be just be trying to look after the soft tyres and then start pushing towards the end.
Now, here's the interesting thing as well about Howard being able to close the gap as he is right now. Believe it or not, Matthew Howard's mediums are 10 laps older than Adam Cohn's are. Adam Cohn pitted just 5 laps ago for those fresh soft tires. Matthew Howard pitted a good 16 laps ago. So the fact that Howard is still closing in is a bit of a shock. You'd expect the soft tires, especially 10 laps fresher than mediums, to be able to just absolutely blitz Howard here.
Yeah, I don't know if Cohen's not feeling comfortable, or he just wants to finish this race. But at the moment, Howard seems to be the quicker driver, and Cohen, I think he's not doing it. Just watching his body language, he's not doing anything he's not too aggressive or over driving. He's just hitting his marks, and yeah, that's what he needs to do. That's what you have to do around the street circuits such as Long Beach.
I think Howard is, I think you actually hit the nail on the head there, Ryan. Howard seems to be a more consistent driver. He's able to just manage the car better. He knows the track better. It does go to show that racing is not all about tire compounds. It's not all about who's got the best setup. Sometimes it is down to the driver. On paper, Adam Cohn should be pulling away by Matthew Howard by some margin. It is a cooler track that benefits soft tires, and he is on 10 lap pressure softs. But Matthew Howard is just the better driver. That's the only way we can that would make sense.
Indeed, and I think if Howard catches right up to Cohen in front of him, and he gets a good exit on the exit of the hairpin, heading across the start finish, I think he could try and make a move into turn 1. But it's making a move in turn 1 requires a bit of bravery.
It really does. It usually requires a very, very big lunge up the inside. And in order to get it done, you really need to be right on the back end. But with the nature of that final hairpin, I don't think it's possible to really be able to make a move into turn 1, at least with these cars. So watch them head their way through. We are now about 10 laps remaining, coming up to 9 laps remaining at this point. So we're now in the single digit for the laps remaining here. And that is going to be Cal Young moving aside to let this battle through for 6th and 7th. As we continue on strong. These are now the only drivers that are just 1 lap down. Everybody else is 2 or more.
Yep, as this battle comes round, there's 2 right-handers as well. And this section here, I thought Cohen was going to get sideways there, but he manages to just hold it. And I think Cohen now, I was saying that he's just hitting his marks. I think he could be starting to feel the pressure a little bit from Matthew Howard.
He's got to try to put that pressure beneath him, though, because if he lets that pressure get the better of him, he is not just going to lose on its 6th place, but he could risk not finishing this race at all and ending up as low as 13th place here. So that is not at all what he wants. So we got to keep our eyes here on how this will develop. Now, this is the crucial part here. How does Howard handle the hairpin? He actually is able to keep a much tighter line through that final hairpin, while Cohen takes a wider line. But Cohen is able to get a better run down the front straightaway.
Yeah, he does, and he pulled away slightly from Howard heading down the home straight, and heading into turn 1. I think he just got, I don't know, maybe Adam Cohen is carrying maybe slightly less downforce, which is helping us straight line. Oh, as I thought, Adam Cohen was so close to the wall there, you lucky boy.
Adam Cohn starting to make mistakes. Those mates could really cost him there. Got a bit of a front end slide, and he was just so close to nicking that wall. And we've already seen what that can do to a car here. All you got to do is have the smallest of taps. It will be enough to pitch the car into a roll.
Yeah, and I think Adam Cohen as well, his tyres might be starting to wear off slightly. Yeah, it's all good and well having the soft tyres, the quicker tyre at and trying to go quick, but you can go quick at the start of a stint with the soft tyres, but towards the end of it, they'll start wearing off. And I think Adam Cohen with that close call to the wall, but it might just be proof of that.
There you can see how much the gap extends in just that little hairpin alone. It goes from 4/10, you can gain an easy 0.3 of a second on the exit of the hairpin. The reason for that is because of just how you have to take the corner. You cannot follow somebody through there without being half a second or back apart. If you're any closer to that on the exit, it means you're actually going to be touching each other because of how slow you have to go. In fact, you've probably seen it on several of the onboards. These drivers are barely making the corner as it is, and they have the wheels full lock to the right.
Yeah, that's the thing with the hairpin. You've got to use as much lock as possible to get around the hairpin, but always sometimes that's not enough, and sometimes you have to use some throttle to get the rear end to rotate. But that's it depends on what car you're racing or driving around this track. And as they come up to the hairpin now, Adam Cohen is still under pressure slightly from Matthew Howard, and Cohen Howard as well gets a bit twitchy on the exit, and Cohen manages to pull away and actually build up a bit of a buffer.
Matthew Howard took too much speed through the middle of the corner and ended up almost hitting the wall, had to give up half a second in the corner. So now he is so far back, he just will not be able to properly reel him in by the end of this race. I genuinely think that this is going to be about it. This is going to be our order. There you saw it on board with Matthew Howard, just how badly he lost time there by running just about half a foot too wide.
Yeah, and that's the thing with the hairpin as well. You need to get the entry perfect and the exit perfect. Matthew Howard just gets sideways, and these cars might be fun to watch, but sometimes, for Matthew Howard, I think it's not as much fun.
Coming up now to 5 laps remaining here at Long Beach in the race that will cap off the first half of the 2021 season of the brand new series, the Dallara Formula IR Series. And boy, I mean, we've had a couple of more lackluster races, I will say that much, and people will be able to pretty much classify this race as among them, but we have still had a lot of thrilling tracks that we've been to already. We've got so many thrilling more that we have yet to visit. That's actually what I like about races kind of like these ones. Oh, whoa, hello there. Did you just see that? Oh, and Howard's he's just made a mistake again. That's 2 mistakes in one corner. He actually rode up the wall the straightaway before this one.
Yeah, just about to look at the replay now of Matthew Howard, riding on board with Matthew Howard, heading down to turn 1, and what has he done? Has he carried too much speed? He's fine round turn 1, comes up to the mountain section, and it looks fine here. I think it's this second right-hander that he's maybe just... he tried to take it wide and clip that wall, and clips the wall again.
That is so strange, though, how we rode up the wall before turning in to hit the tires. I don't think I've ever seen an open-wheel car do something quite like that and not go fully over.
As the back up at the front as well, we've got this battle for third place between Dylan Freckleton and Hayata Asaga starting to get close as well, as Asaga gets sideways in the edge of the hairpin. And yeah, Asaga looking at his pace as well. He's been every lap from lap 43 up to lap 46. He's been the quickest car out of these two.
He certainly has been the quicker of the two. I mean, this is just a phenomenal run that these guys are having so far all race long. These two drivers have been doing a great job of just hitting their marks and trying to keep everything as smooth as can be. This is now the only battle we got here out of cars that are on the lead lap. So we'll have to just wait and see how this is going to shape up between these two drivers. I mean, the gap is steadily closing, but there are a couple mistakes coming up from both drivers here now.
Yeah, they're just, both of them are pushing so hard rather. And I think, I wouldn't be surprised if one of these guys makes a mistake, but as Asaga goes right over the curves on the right-hander, and they just trying to carry as much momentum as possible, as Freckleton goes slightly wide on the hairpin, but on the exit he manages to get a great exit, and Asaga just getting a bit twitchy on the exit.
It's those little twitches that can really make or break your race. I mean, we've already seen that, how drivers can just get a little bit twitchy on the exit of that hairpin, and it will send them into a massive tank slapper or a tailspin, which does send them into the wall. We've seen that so many times already today, and it'll be something that we have to continue to work with, especially in the final few laps of the race.
Yep, quite possibly, as Asaga, he misses the turn slightly there, but he manages to not get into trouble, as they're coming onto this back straight now, and Asaga's getting sideways again, and the amount of times Asaga's got sideways, I'm amazed that he's not clipped the wall.
So coming up now to what will be the start of the penultimate lap for these two drivers at least. 2 laps remaining on the circuit. Oh, Saga, come on. You got to make sure you can hit those marks. You're not going to get the spot by being over-aggressive like that. And it is just, it's really killing him here because he probably could have already gotten the pass done, but he just keeps making the same mistake lap after lap, and he can't afford to make it anymore.
Yeah, I think Saga is just he's just like you say, he's not getting the exit on the exit of the hairpin spot on. He needs to try and use less power possibly. I know it's a bit of a silly thing to say, but less power means possibly you can try and get a better exit. As I think Dylan Freckleton is doing just enough to hold on at the moment. He's resisting the pressure of the Saga again. He's getting back into the habit of drifting, but back up at the front, Marco Sanfilippo is currently leading the race, or led the race for most of the duration so far, and at the moment he's heading on to the... We've got 1 lap left in the race, and you should hold on to take the win.
Just 1 lap remaining. 1 car's in the wall just behind them. That's Zane Scott that has tagged the wall. He's just kind of getting himself going now. Managed to make sure he waited it before the field went away. Now here we go down towards turn 1 for what will be the final time today. Will they be able to make the move here? It's going to be so tricky. Keep in mind, they're coming up the lap traffic of 11th and 12th, 11th and 10th, who have just swapped places. So they're about to catch 2 battles here that are taking place at the same time. So this is going to be extremely difficult. Meanwhile, there is Sanfilippo, who is going to come off of the final corner. Marcus Sanfilippo is going to win it here at Long Beach. Danilo Sanfilippo still almost half a lap back as we look back to the battle for 3rd. Coming up now on the 11th place driver, barely able to dart their way through. Asaga's got 1 more chance here to make this work.
Yeah, Asaga rather is coming up to the final couple of corners, and I don't think he's going to be close enough to make a move on Dylan Freckleton. Freckleton just needs to get round the hairpin, and Asaga is going wide to try and get a good momentum on the exit of the corner, but he can't do it.
Cannot get it done. Dylan Freckleton holds off Hayata Asaga to finish 3rd place in the final podium position here at Long Beach. What a phenomenal race these guys have had over the ending of this one. Only 5 cars to finish on the lead lap. Oh my goodness me. It's been a race full of attrition, and goodness me, has it ever been a good one. Just wait till the final cars now to cross the line. Yeah,
that was a pretty decent race. The battle for 3rd place going down right down to the last lap, and I believe everyone's crossed the line just about, or waiting for a few cars to still cross.
And it looks like all the drivers have now crossed the start-finish line. That is going to be race concluded. Let's take a good old look at the post-race results. Marcus Sanfilippo takes victory here at Long Beach. Danilo Sanfilippo is going to top it off in the 2nd position for a Sanfilippo 1-2. Dylan Freckleton rounds out the podium with Hayata Asaga in 4th. Anthony Cat, the final driver to finish on the lead lap in the 5th position. Adam Cohn is in 6th. Matthew Howard is down in the 7th position. Cal Young in 8th. Eric J. Jock and Aaron Roots round out the top 10. Continuing onwards down to the 11th position, we have got Benjamin Forge. Eugenio Massa sits in 12th. Now drivers that Zane Scott is going to be the last of the drivers to finish the race. Drivers that failed to finish have been Colin McKenzie, Jacob Obruslak, Jacob Swiderski, Remy Garcia, Josh Batista, David Jones, and Omar Baha, with Rashad Craig rounding out the 21-car field. Goodness gracious, what a race.
Yeah, that was a fantastic race. Maybe not for the win, but that podium battle for 3rd place going down to the last lap. And I have to say, I was a bit sceptical about this series coming to the Long Beach, but I thought it was a pretty decent race, and we had some good battles going on, Nolan.
We did have a lot of good battles going on throughout that race. I think that was definitely a race that we wanted to have happen. I mean, it wasn't the most exciting thing. A lot of the passes did come as a result of attrition, but we did see some really spectacular sights. I mean, that was a really good race for street circuit standards.
Yeah, and normally on a street circuit, you would normally expect loads of crashes to be happening, but I think today that was pretty. The standard was good, and Marco Sanfilippo managed to just pull away and dominate and took a well-deserved win.
He did take a very well-deserved win. I mean, I don't think I've ever seen a driver manage to pull away quite like that. Not in this series, at least. We have, well, actually, now that I say that, the Nürburgring race does actually come back to mind. We did see another very dominant performance there, but still, an absolutely fantastic drive for Sanfilippo. Absolutely deserved it. You know what? Next race is going to be Watkins Glen International at Long Beach. Watkins Glen International and the Classic Boot. So no bus stop chicane to the back stretch. Oh boy, that is going to be quite an entertaining run.
Yeah, it is, especially after the S's with no chicane. I think you don't be surprised if you see a lot of the slipstreaming and draft battles going on. So I'm rather looking forward to that.
I think we both are. I mean, what a way to cap off the first half of the season. Now, it really is just going to be a bunch of tracks that are just going to be packed full of action right to the end. So for the second half of the season, we started off with Watkins Glen. Then we've got Road Atlanta, then Monza, then Spa, then Road America, then Interlagos. It is just going to be an absolute... Ow, sorry, my cat is just attacking my foot here. But it's just going to be an absolutely fantastic run-through right to the end of the season. Yeah,
absolutely. The Road Atlanta is the one I'm looking forward to. And Watkins Glen as well. That's like the remaining tracks in the season. So for the rest of the season, I'm absolutely looking forward to. And no doubt we'll be in for a fantastic racing towards the end of the season.
We've gotten all of the more lackluster tracks like Barcelona, Phillip Island, and Long Beach out of the way early on, and that means we can have an absolutely thrilling second half of the season. Of course, like we said, the Daytona 24 coming out tomorrow, so a slightly less than normal turnout today. No doubt we'll be back up to full strength for the weeks to come through to the end of the end of the season.
Yep, absolutely. Next week, who can anyone stop Marco Sanfilippo? But just tune in next week to find out.
And I think that is going to be about all the time we are going to have for one day. So thank you once again for joining us here for RaceSpotTV Friday Night Prime Time here for the Dallara Formula IR Series to cap off first half of the season. I have been Nolan Rampo, bringing you all the coverage from start to finish. Ryan Walker beside me in the commentary box, as always, with the wonderfully talented Connor Maddock behind the cameras for today. Special thanks as well to TrackCameras22.com and its below for giving us the cameras that you saw here on the track. And we will see you all next week.